But as your shirt shows, you're wearing a proud
champions.
Raulito shirt. Spain
The champions.
are champions for the fourth time in the history of the Euros.
Yeah.
Look, going into this game, I think we might both have picked England to win.
Yeah.
On the basis, I think, at least for me, I don't want to speak for you, that, hey, look, it's hard to win 7 games out of 7 in a tournament. In fact, I think only Brazil in 2002
That's right.
has ever done it. And that team had
That's
Ronaldo,
incredible.
Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Cafu, Roberto Carlos. Basically guys that this Spain team does not have.
Yeah.
And also you could see it because we see it all the time. The teams sit deep and defend and stifle. And then they nick a goal at the other end through the individual, right?
Yeah.
And in the first half, a horrendous first half in which I think hardly anybody took a shot on goal, and I think there was one save in the whole first half. It looked like maybe it was heading in that direction.
It looked like England was just not going to play football and was just going to defend. I don't know what they expected with the ball because they could not keep the ball that well. They just had hardly no rhythm to it. There's a moment in the first half where Shaw goes forward. There's another one where Shaw plays a diagonal towards Saka, and then there's an overlap from Walker. But that was it from an England point of view. And I thought, okay, if this is the plan, this is never going to work because we are half-time and they've defended deep and they, in a way, maybe frustrated a little bit Spain, but as we saw with Germany, as we saw with Georgia, as we saw even with France.
Sorry, you say that. They didn't just frustrate Spain a little bit. They frustrated Spain a lot. Spain did not have any chances in the first half either. The closest thing to a chance was right at the end of the first half, and that was Phil Foden, who plays for England.
Yeah.
So I am playing devil's advocate a little bit. It's horrendous to watch, but if you want to keep doing this, there was a logic to it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, maybe. But at some point, you also need to start playing football. Because as we saw with Germany, with Georgia, with France, you can also have a go at them. And when you have a go at them, you put them under pressure. And they look a bit vulnerable at times. They're not as dominant. I'm not sure they like, despite having this new mentality, I don't think nobody likes to be under pressure. But England never did that. And they conceded a goal so early in the second half that even if that was the plan, here we went out the window very quickly.
I invite everybody to go and read my piece about the final because I make a point here about Spain, which I think is actually quite relevant, right? We've already mentioned the fact that you don't have the star names from Real Madrid and Barcelona like you did in the past. But this team really has a playing style and an identity. And there's 2 things to say here for me. One is they didn't deviate from it throughout the tournament. And even after the horrible first half, they weren't phased. Even after Palmer equalized, they weren't phased. They just kept going.
Yeah, they never panic.
Tremendous belief, tremendous, like you said, calm. They never panic.
Yeah.
And secondly, this is actually built over time because De La Fuente spent 10 years working for the Spanish FA.
Yeah.
And in that time, at youth level, he won with the under-19s. He won
Euros,
with the under-21s.
Euros as well. Olympics.
And, was runner-up at the Olympics. And so many of these players, from Oyarzabal to Rodri to Merino to Dani Olmo to Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah, Pedri
even Cucurella. All these guys played for him. So there's a familiarity there.
Yeah, I think, and to be fair, I think a few eyebrows were raised when he was chosen to succeed Luis Enrique because you can do great work at youth football, and we know some very good youth coaches. Doesn't mean that you will be able to do that at senior level with a lot of success. But he created an incredible team spirit, a shift in mentality compared to the Luis Enrique style of football, and that was only 2 years ago. So really impressive.
It's what he had. It's what he had to work with, and he made the most of it. I think that's why he chose to build on what he had built before. You have to give credit to him. You have to give credit, I think, to the entire Spanish football movement, because to have so many players come out of the woodwork and produce players who, don't necessarily play for the biggest sides, I think is a credit. On the flip side, now we both live in London, as we mentioned. This is where everybody goes and wonders what happens about Gareth Southgate. I'm just going to ask you a very simple question. If you were Debbie Hewitt and Mark Bullingham, would you say, Gareth said now is not the time to talk about his future. Yeah. I can tell you right now, if I were Mark Bullingham, I would say now is the time to talk about your future and your contract's up.
He means like in a few days, not now after the final.
Obviously. Should he move on?
Yeah, but I don't think it should be his decision. I think the FA should say, you know what, 2 finals in a row lost like that, psychologically it's a massive scar for those players. We need a fresh start, we need someone new. English, foreign, I don't really care, but you need something different. You can't keep this is a failure. You can say Spain were a better team, you can say Italy were a better team 3 years ago. It doesn't matter so much. They've lost 2 in a row for the first time in history, and he is, for me, the most responsible of all of it. You can't keep him.
He's done a tremendous job, I think.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good
reconnecting with
things.
the fans and whatever on that side of it.
Yeah.
But for the footballing side, I think it is definitely time to move on.